Buy the rumor, sell the news. Couple examples. Why do you think when Trump won the election in November, that day the markets broke out to all-time highs? Bitcoin hit an all-time high, S&P 500 hit an all-time high, the NASDAQ hit an all-time high. And that created a rally that lasted 2 months until January 19, the night before Trump came into office, was the highest price went on Bitcoin. The market didn't really go much higher than that. So why did that was the top of the market. Why do you think that markets hit all-time highs when Trump wins the election? Everyone thinks Trump's going to pump the market. And the market not only peaked the moment he entered, but actually suffered a tremendous crash. Why do you think that is? Now, similarly, what else happened is Trump announces massive tariffs, and the market absolutely gigapukes, massive volatility. And I was actually looking at the chart when it happened, when the tariffs were implemented. I think it's April 9, 6 p.m. Hawaii time. It was April 10, I think, midnight. I may be off by a day. But I was watching the chart, and the exact minute that the tariffs were implemented on China, the 104% tariff increase, huge buys started coming into the market. And you're going to see this later, but in one day, the market's up 10% from that point. Trump wins election, markets soar. Trump enters office, markets dump. Trump announces tariffs, markets dump. Tariffs are implemented, markets soar. Now, in this case, most of the tariffs weren't implemented because Trump came in and said, actually, we're going to pause it for 90 days. So it was a big bluff, basically. Really interesting, but you could say it was insiders, possibly, but it's predictable that when news comes out that's unexpected, it rocks the markets, either bullish or bearish. In this case, I gave you two examples. I gave you a bullish example and a bearish example. But there was news that came out, news that comes out rocks the markets. And when the news has a timeline, a deadline for implementation, usually what ends up happening is the markets reverse on that time. And I could give you more examples, but let's just stop with those two. Part of it's psychology, and part of it's just what popular trading strategy is. But when there's news that's unpredictable, the market tries to price in what that means. Let me actually give you another example. Is when there's rumors of FTX going insolvent in 2022, it absolutely started to puke. And when it actually went insolvent, the market didn't go lower than that. That was actually the low of the 2022 market. But so when there's news that comes out and it's unpredictable and unknown, oftentimes what happens, it just is people are trying to price it in advance, and oftentimes they do too much. They price it too far, right? Trump's going to pump the markets. Well, maybe not, right? Trump's going to the tariffs are going to dump the markets. Maybe not as much as you think. And the moment the thing happens, the uncertainty is gone. And the markets tend to correct. Things just shoot too far. I think a lot of it's emotionalism. Of people tend to overreact and take things too far. And when the event materializes, the market tends to chill out. So what does this mean as a trading strategy? Well, let's get into it. So for a trading strategy, now there's times you're going to be lucky and you're going to see the news in the first 30 minutes. The way the world is now, though, that if you're later than like an hour to the news, a lot of the time, well, that's not always true, but a lot of the time it just like moves way too fast and too soon, and you're not going to be able to take advantage of the news. Sometimes you'll be lucky and you'll see it and you can make a quick judgment, but the easier way is to schedule trades around reversals of events coming into pass that have been scheduled in the news. So, for example, planning to short the election day based on it, or planning to sell election day based on it being the opposite, right? Planning to long the moment. It looked like there were traders did exactly that. I saw it on the screen. There was huge buys that came in the minute the tariffs came in, and that was a known date. So my suggestion is not so much to trade, be reactive to news, but to plan for events. Another example I can give you is when it was announced that the Bitcoin ETF was going to come out, the markets went on a massive rally. And the day the Bitcoin ETF came out, the market sold off massively. So the question is, what are these narratives that have a close to it? And how can you plan for it? Plan for a reversal. I don't really have any currently, but it's something I'm looking out for. Something I'm very interested in. If you have one, share it down below. I'd be interested in hearing it. But that's why often you think like, oh, Trump's in office, this is bullish. Well, it was already priced in. Trump's came out, this is bearish. Well, it was already priced in. So, is what it is. I look forward to hearing what you all have to say. Peace.